Hey everyone, hope you're well. I'm a little bit gutted today. As you've probably noticed already, I've got hair and I didn't expect to have any today. I was expecting to be a slaphead by now and it's not happened because, frankly, I'm an idiot who doesn't read or understand the instructions of what he's paid for. So I rang a company and said I'd like to have some tag things cryogenically removed. They were like, yep, sure, we can do that. I spoke through him about the size and shape and where they were, and he agreed it was going to work. It was all going to work properly. And that was all based off the fact that I'd gone online and done some research into what the process was, and it looked like it was a pen that froze them and then cut them moments later. And so I assumed it meant that they'd freeze them, cut them, and then he was like, there'll be no mark. And I was thinking, how would there be no mark? You know, no matter what, if I froze the tip of my finger and I cut it, it's not going to be skin underneath. It's going to be horrible gore and it's going to be grim. And I was like, so surely these tags are no different. But he was adamant, nope, they'll put the stuff on and then when it's removed, there'll be no mark. And I'd been thinking about it all week. I wonder how they do it. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I Googled it and yeah, it's, you know, it freezes it, cuts it, blah, blah, blah. And then when I got there, they were like, no, we stick the ice stuff on it with this pen. They hold this pen thing to it. And it kind of touches against it and it makes this spray that basically just turns the cells to ice and kills them essentially. And then I have to wait 3 weeks and then by that point it will have died and then healed, and then she'll look at how it looks and then she'll freeze it again. So she said to me, it could take me 6 to 9 weeks to go through 3 of them and have it done. And I was just like, so I'm not going to get my head shaved today then? And she was like, no, you're not. Like, no, I wouldn't go anywhere near your head today. I've got to be careful brushing my hair for the next 3 weeks and then go back in and then be careful for another 3 weeks. So as you can see at the moment, my hair's a frigging mess. And I really wish I'd known this before I was sat with her, because I'd have at least gone and got like a short back and sides so that I was tidy enough. But now I've got to, while everyone else is having their hair cut left, right and centre, I've got to wait up to 9 weeks until I'm allowed to get rid of mine. By that point, it'll be so long that I probably want to keep it, because I'll just be like, right, yeah, I've got loads of hair now. I mean, I hadn't even shaved my beard because I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, you know, I need a beard shave and I just need to tidy up. But I didn't want to do it until I had no hair, so I could establish how it looked and just figure it all out, be a new me, all sorted. So by like 12 today, I was convinced it was all going ahead as planned, and I was absolutely in the zone. And I'd warned Ollie before he left for school that next time he sees me, he won't have hair. Didn't want him to get a shock. You know, I told Emily about it before I left because she, you know, we both went out at the same time. She went off to see her friends, and I said to my colleague, next time you see me. And then I got there and I was like, oh, I'm so mortified now, because I'd obviously been joking about it. I called my Twitch stream Baldness Eve yesterday, the Baldness Eve celebrations. We're joking about, you know, Father Baldness going around the world, shaving people on Baldness Day. And I'd come out with all this nonsense and then it didn't happen. And I mean, most people don't telegram their haircuts that dramatically around the world, but I was very excited that I was finally getting rid of this hair that I hate so much. But no, got another 9 weeks of having to put up with it now. Well, she reckons 6, but maybe because I need it to be completely perfect, she was like, it may end up being a bit longer. She was kind of like, if I had a lump on my hand and they moved it down to a point where it wasn't too bad. Like, so I had some other bits done and she was like, most of them, you don't care really how they look once you've got to a point. It's just they were included in the price. But that one needs to be pretty much bang on. And she was showing me where she'd done it on her hand and it was completely smooth. And she'd done one on her arm that was completely smooth. I get the impression that they pay for the canisters and once they're open, they don't last very long. So if she has any leftovers, she's just like, bloop, bloop, get rid of that. Which sounds fantastic. But I thought I might have to keep swinging by there and go, you got any spare canisters? You just give me a quick spray. But no, so I've got to go back in 3 weeks. I think it's the 7th of May or something like that. And hope that there's enough progress that they can just sign it off there, or another 3 weeks and then job done. Cool, sorry about that. I needed to cough and my eyes are so like funny now. I feel really flustered. So other than that, the day's gone really well. The week's gone really well. Ollie's had a really fantastic week at school. We've had a couple of things where they were like, he's had a really good day, but, and we're like, oh no. And then I think I mentioned before, or I might have lost track whether I mentioned before, he had a problem on Monday where he stayed for lunch, Tuesday, sorry, he stayed for lunch, and basically the different dinner lady, there was a new dinner lady, and They didn't put him on, it normally sits on a round table with people the right distance away, and it's all kind of controlled and looked after. Nudian lady didn't know about Ollie, sat him on a square table right next to someone. Ollie was invading their space a bit, they didn't like it, they ended up trying to move away. Ollie got a bit upset, they ended up with a bit of back and forth, and it kind of, you know, it was like, it didn't need to happen, but they've dealt with it, and they were like, don't worry, it's our fault, it won't happen again. So the rest of the week was perfect, and then today, he was finishing at 2:30, but they forgot to tell his TA. So bless her, she lunch finished, she got his coat on, she got him ready. He did know he was finishing at 2:30. We made this very clear to him it was going to happen, but then she thought she was done and sat waiting, and then was told, no, he's here till 2:30, and she was just like, nobody's told me this. So then he was so upheavaled at that point that he was upset that he'd had to wait, and he was upset that he had to go back, and it wasn't what he was expecting. And then it was like, he just wasn't really listening at that point. But she said he'd had such a perfect day to that point. She was gutted that it was nothing, it was just the way it was, the situation. She was like, it wasn't her fault. It was just a miscommunication again. Yeah, I don't know who would have done that really, who would have needed to give her that information. I think next time what I'll do is, if something changes, I'll message her and go, just a heads up, we've agreed this, just in case they forget to say. But they were like, we're really sorry, and I was like, okay, it's fine. And Ollie's not getting any punishment, he didn't do anything dramatic. They were just like, he'd had a perfect day, and then we undermined him. And I thought, that's just life, isn't it? That's just how it is these days. It's like, me saying about telling him that I was getting my hair cut, I just didn't want him coming in and being like, I mean, he did say, I don't want you to be bored. And I was like, no, it's going to be great. And he felt a bit better then once he knew that I was happy about it. But I think if he'd have just come in, he'd have been like, what's going on? And it'd have taken him time to adjust. I'm trying to tell him about everything I can think of that might cause him a problem. So he knew he was finishing later, but obviously he just rolled with the authority, which is a good thing, because you think he'd have normally, I feel like he'd have corrected her, and then perhaps that would have been the problem, that he'd have said, no, it's not true, and all of this. But no, I'm glad they resolved it. It's interesting that they told us as well, because I feel like in the past I've worried that they wouldn't, like, I'm not saying they would be misleaders, but I worried that they maybe would have said, like, when he did this, you might think, well, was there a reason that you're not telling us that he did this with? But they are telling us, so that's good. That to me feels like they're telling us the truth. They're owning up when it's their fault. When they maybe don't realise it's their fault, I tell them, and when it's no one's fault, they don't blame anyone, you know. So I feel good. I feel like we're in a good position with that. That's nice. So yeah, that's all cool. Emily's holiday's nearly finished now. She's been going to see her friends every day, which has been really nice. Getting to grips with having a teenager who goes out and hangs out with her friends is an interesting one. I don't want us to become one of these kids that goes out to the park all the time, because where I grew up, I mean, it might not be that it's nice here where we live, but when I grew up, that's what all the horrible kids did. I don't want to become an horrible kid. I stayed at home playing games all the time, so maybe I need to, once COVID's gone, I'll say to her, why don't you bring your friends around and play games with them, and maybe convince her that they should all come here and hang out and drink Pepsi Max and eat sweets and stuff, because that's what my friends' parents did. They invited us round and just bombarded us with sweets, just so much sugar. And then when we got older, we'd go around there and have beers and stuff, and it was all safe and controlled and good. And we just watched loads of films, played loads of games, and it was lovely. So I'm kind of thinking I might encourage that, and hopefully she won't just be one of these who goes about the park with cider or whatever, which I don't even know if that happens anymore. I imagine the police are probably wise enough to it these days, but it's a concern. Ben's being a little bit of a monkey. You might have heard him in the background. Apparently he was sent to his room and he was just screeching in the background. I don't know if it came through. I never know whether it comes through on the mic or not, but I was like, puts me off. He I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, he's been a bit of a monkey. He's definitely hitting those terrible threes. He was really good 1 and 2. So I think threes have just, I mean, he's had a COVID year, hasn't he? So it's been probably a nightmare for him. It's making me dread him going to school in September, obviously, sorry. But he'll be ready by then, hopefully, he says. So yeah, I think there's not much else to cover on this vlog. It's like, I'm just waiting for everything. I got an email from Openreach saying that they've received their application for superfast broadband, and they've worked out there's 4,500 houses in the area, so if we all paid 500 quid it would work. Now I'd bite their hand off for 500 quid for 900 plus meg broadband, but for the fact, A, I know there's another company doing it for normal, like they'll just install it and then I'll pay them a monthly fee, and B, I'm not going to get 4,000 people ready to spend 500 quid. I'll be lucky to get 100 people out of that. So I'm worried because I'm not the one who received the email. Our team of us who were doing it, one of the guys received the email and passed it to me. And I'm not sure that he's going to pass back the messages that I would pass back. And I'm a bit worried he's going to say, yeah, okay. And then we'll have to try and, do you know what I mean? Try and convince them to listen or whatever. I don't know what the situation is, but it's not fully under my control. So I'm just like, you know, I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, we'll see what happens because it's another wait. I've got to wait for that. I've got to wait for the hair, and I've still not had an update about the PC, so I've got to wait for the PC. Our garage guy has told us he'll give us a finishing date he said he would give us it this week. It's Friday tomorrow, so we haven't had a date yet. Claire did see his van out down the road doing a job, so he is around. And I thought maybe he'll pop over, but he hasn't. Maybe when he finishes that, he'll book us in and do us. But yeah, I'm a bit like, I want to know now. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to say, right, I'll have it finished within 5 weeks. I'll have 5 weeks waiting for that. 5 weeks waiting for the hair thing. You know, I'm still 4 weeks away from the PC, the furthest reaches of the deliveries on that. I don't like waiting. It stresses me out. It really messes with my head. And I'm having to wait all that time. For ultimately things that shouldn't hurt. I don't know. It's like I'm just pushing against the brick wall and then suddenly it's just going to fall away and I'm going to be able to go through the door. That I should have just said a door. I should have pushing a door for 6 weeks and then finally going through it. That would have been the perfect analogy if I hadn't have stuck the takeoff there. The only other thing I want to cover is this. I actually tried to straighten this the other day and it does look straighter, but it's not quite straight. And obviously Lee McElwain as well was commenting on this very flat pillow. Now, Claire's got 2 normal size pillows. That's Ben's pillow that he starts using when he sleeps in. And then this one here is my super flat, like this flat pillow. Because if I try to have a pillow like Claire's, my neck hurts so much. And I snore. Whereas with this really flat pillow, I've not had neck pain for ages. I've had a little bit, but not massively. And yeah, I don't snore as much at all. So yeah, flat pillows for the win. I have got like a massive cheese wedge shaped one on the floor for when anyone's got a cold. We just like lay on that. It wasn't on the floor originally, it was in the cupboard, but it obviously got emptied. But I tried alternating, I tried going for that. My theory was, oh, I'm snoring, I'll try and prop up more, but it just made it worse. The higher up I was, the louder and more noisy I was and everything. So yeah, flat ones way forward. But I'm guessing, I mean, he might be the only one mad enough to have noticed it, but if he isn't, there's the answer. So yeah, that is the end of it. This is the messiest I've felt doing a vlog. I'm a bit weird. I always brush my hair and put deodorant on before I go on the internet for a vlog, for a stream, or for a podcast. Kev was like, "Why do you put deodorant on?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. It just makes me feel more confident that I know I'm, I don't know, groomed." I just feel like I tidy myself up, and deodorant's part of my tidying. It's not that I'm thinking, oh, I smell it. I just go, right, hair, deodorant, you know, check my whatever, clothes are clean. I just check everything as though I'm going to do it in person. And I feel like psychologically, if I haven't done that, it throws me. So I've set up downstairs before and then run upstairs because I forgot to do deodorant. Claire's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's just part of my routine. I have to do it." Now, I mean, I'm really looking forward to not having to tidy the room. But when I finally have my desk set up downstairs and everything sorted, I'm going to have a can of deodorant in the room just so that I can continue that routine. Not having to do my hair is going to be great. That's always the worst bit, and not being able to do it as much this time is going to be a bit different. I might have to start streaming, doing videos in hats because I can't be having it all rough around the back and all messy. But I'm not allowed to touch it apparently. If I mess it up, I'll have to go back earlier, which is just going to cost me more and take longer and potentially mess up the shape of it all. But I don't know. I think they can fix most things, but if it gets too far, then it's obviously just going to keep. Eventually, I'll just have a massive crater in the side of my head where they've frozen away most of it. Presumably, I assume that's how it works. But I don't want that. Thank you. I'd rather it just be completely domed, all good. I'm worried that we'll cut it all and be like, "Oh my god, there's something over here that I didn't notice," and then I'll have to keep going with it, and I'll end up with hair that side and no hair that side while I sort it all out. But I think at that point I'd have to. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because that is it. Let me know how your week's going. Let me know how you're all doing. I've been playing a game on Twitch all week that I've just got to the end level on. Any of you who watched me on that final level, I made everyone stay an extra 45 minutes because I was on the final boss. we got to the actual final boss of the final level, and then it killed me in like 30 seconds. And I was so guilty because I was supposed to finish at 11, and we ended up streaming till like 11:35, 11:40. Claire was desperate to go to sleep. I was desperate to go to sleep, and I failed it. So I might do a leveling up mission in between now and Sunday, but Sunday the plan is I want to do a stream where we complete XCOM. So if you're into games or you're into XCOM, or you just want to hang out on Sunday, I'm going to do a stream. I'll put the times out on Twitter and just play the end of that, complete another game. That'll be 2 for 2 then, and onwards with the streaming. But yeah, that's all for me, and I'll catch up with you on when do I normally? It's Tuesday. Yeah, I'll catch up with you on Tuesday. Cheers.